We've also developed and maintained an institutional repository, and we have also supported development of local journals. So we have quite a number of local journals, depending on the colleges. We have 6 colleges, and almost all the colleges have a local journal. But what we are doing now, we are trying to come up with a program whereby all these journals can be put in one platform. We don't have to have one college, this journal, another college, this journal. We just have one journal for the university. That is what now is in the pipeline. We are also supporting publishing, both in commercial and open access platforms. So our lecturers and our researchers, whereby when we have published in an open access platform, you are at the same level as any researcher who has published in a commercial platform. So that is how we are enhancing researchers. Then we also have the dissemination of the research outputs in our constitution of 2010, which is, we still use it. There's a right of access to information by citizens. And then we have avenues established by the university to access this information. We have the conventional, we have the open access policy that Obachi will take you through. We have the digital repository and publishing in open access platforms. When it comes to health, we have examples like PubMed. You have researchers publish in PubMed and in other health platforms. The open access policy, this is just how we started the process of developing the open access. We began around 2008, 2009, and a committee was formed, and that committee it included the various people. We didn't want to leave out other units in the university because they'll start complaining. So the committee included the librarians, the ICT people, the intellectual property, the legal officer, the deans, the students. So we had a big committee that was inclusive, so that we come up with a good policy. It was adopted in 2012. We also signed the Berlin Declaration of Open Access Knowledge in 2012 also. So the main reason for the open access policy is just to provide our scholars the opportunity and platform to promote their academic work. This is, we always say that coming up with an open access policy, or even any other open policy, it's so easy. You can just sit down as a committee and just come up with develop an open a policy, but implementation is a problem. And I'm believing all of us are going through the same. And we also went through the same, and we are still going through the same. So we came up with strategies which we adapted to sensitize users on policy and the digital repository. We have used media to reach the alumni, because these are the people that, these are the students that their theses are with us. And for them to adapt open access policy, or for us to include their research or their thesis in our repository, we needed to reach them. We also have teaching programs like the communication skills that we sensitize the both undergraduate and graduate students. We also have electronic resources training conducted by the libraries. All colleges have librarians, head librarians, and those librarians are required. That is one of their tasks. They are required to sensitize their researchers and their students on all these issues, all these emerging issues in the library. College outreach programs to academic staff. You also have university and the library website. If you look at our website, it's very interactive. You'll see all step by step what and how to videos and all that, just to guide the researchers on how to access and how to publish. University, and then we have the email broadcast. We broadcast to all staff in the university, and brochures and posters. When it comes to the repository, we also started around the same time. Installation and pilot submission was in 2009, around 2009 and 2010. That time we didn't have our policy, so we had to be keen on what we are putting or what we are uploading in our repository because of copyright issues. So we uploaded abstracts, inaugural lectures that are not, and other items that are not copyrighted, and open access full text. Then hosting on permanent server, we did it in 2011, and then we went live after we developed our policy in November 2012. And we'll see, Rob will take you through our repository. We have over 80,000 entries. We have registered the repository because you have to make your repository and the policy visible. If you don't, nobody will know that you exist and that you have researchers in your institutions. So we've registered our repository in the policy with the RAWAR and Open Door and ROAMAP for the policy. We also have the Creative Commons end user license. That's what we are using to the digital repository where copyright is owned by members of the staff. And in February 2008, we became a foundation member of Biomed Central. So we usually receive articles from Biomed Central, articles that are our own researchers when they write. We receive those articles. These are the contents that are in the repository: the research articles, working conference, theses, images, inaugural lectures, speeches, and all that. Those are what we have. And this is why we just took up the open access initiatives, because one thing is that it is a movement, a global movement. We also wanted our work, our research visible, and we also wanted to perform well in metrics. I think that was maybe one of the main reason. Improve access to our local publication, because you realize we had a section. I believe you have gone round. You've seen a section called Africana. Yeah, you have seen so many theses all over. So we wanted to showcase what we have, what the research that we have. They're also just to share and attract research funding. You realize that even these days you are asked a NOKID ID and all that when you want to get some funding and all that. So we just wanted to attract our funding. This is just a bit of our statistics, how our repository is being used. Top country downloaded, how many times, all times usage, views, and downloads, and all that. These are just some of the statistics and the top items of the past 6 months, top items of the past 6 months based on downloads and all that. We are enhancing our digital repository. One thing is capacity building and advocacy. There's no way you can succeed without capacity building. Then the submission of thesis and dissertation on soft copy. We never used to do that. Now, from 2 years ago, the students now submit their soft copy. Project to source all University of Nairobi historical documents. And I always say that there's nothing that is cheap, or there's nothing that you don't need money to. If you want something good, you must invest financially. So we went through even all the other newspapers, and we paid for it because now it was copyrighted by other publishers. So we paid for those historical documents. You'll see the archives. The archives has got our historical documents that we got from the newspapers. We have also harvested local content in other sites, but we ensured that copyright is enhanced. The protected copyright through checking the Shepa Romeo site. Maintaining integrity, plagiarism software, we had to subscribe to it. We also have a policy, plagiarism policy, because when it comes to duplication also, you have to be very careful. The digitization, we had an outsourced digitization, whereby we outsourced. We thought of purchasing equipment. Then we thought, after we are through with the digitization, what will we do with those equipment? those large and very expensive equipment. So we looked at both sides, and we felt maybe outsourcing would be better. And then we just bought some small scanning equipment for maybe things that, maybe items that we have left out. But otherwise, we don't have now a backlog. We outsourced, and we now have all our theses digitized. We also have upgrading of the software, tools to enhance visibility of the repository. We have the Bocas Indentics, we have the ORCID, Google Scholar. We are also exploring Altmetrics so that we can make our repository visible, our items research visible. We have also established digital content units, which comprises of digital repository, electronic resources, and ICT unit. So we have 6 permanent and 7 on contract that work in that unit. And we have also developed we have now started developing subject repository, and this is why we are here. Health Information Repository is the first subject repository that we are developing. So we have successes. You can see growth in numbers of items, high level of usage, contributed to the excellence of the performance in webometrics. If you look at the webometrics, you'll see that the University of Nairobi is one of the best in Africa. And we've also contributed to visibility of the researchers. You find that now there's a lot of inquiries, because when our work is out there open, people are asking. You will be identified as a researcher, and you can be able to get funding very easily. And we've not gone without challenges. We have had challenges, sensitization of users. It's not easy. You can imagine how many postgraduate students we have, and the researchers and the lecturers. There are so many. So it has been not very easy. Awareness of the policy also, then mindset of the researchers, lack of understanding. These are the challenges that we've been going through. The faculty not providing content on a continuous basis to populate the repository. But I'm glad that we have a very vibrant unit that goes even beyond. They go to the lecturers to look for this content. They don't just sit in the library waiting to be somebody to bring the content. They go out. Lack of understanding of the copyright and publishers' policies, and streamlining systems for comprehensive monitoring of quality research. Quality of research output. The issue to do is streamlining. You find that the university feels the library should check on quality. Or, on the other hand, we feel we should not check on quality. We should have a unit that checks on quality. Okay, there's a unit that has been established. It has only 2 people, so how can 2 people work? So that is a challenge, and I think very soon we will have a very vibrant quality check unit. Sensitization of authors, researchers, postgraduate students at college level has also been a challenge for us. We have some way forward and lesson learned that we can also share together. That is sensitize policymakers. That is the main thing, and researchers. But policymakers, if your policymakers cannot support you, you will never succeed. So, and that is what we started with when we were starting the repository. We ensured that the UMB, the University Management Board, is sensitized. And we looked for people like there's a professor, J. Quat, I don't know if you know Professor Bukutsa. We identified her to come and sensitize the UMB, so that, at least that level they understand, they will be able to, because she is also an expert in open access. More training, then just consider the open access initiatives in your core activities, in your targets, so that you can get a budget allocation. Without budget allocation, you've seen the tools, enhancing the tools and all that. You cannot do without purchase. You have to purchase them. Then the developing of the open access policy, plagiarism policy, and successfully implement the policy. That is what we need to do. You can have a policy, and if you don't implement it, you'll go nowhere.